Good evening, my name is Matthew Nilsson, and this is my persuasive speech for Fundamentals of Speech online at Southeastern University. I'd like to begin my speech by showing you all a short clip. Please enjoy.
America. Beautiful, isn't she? But we have to work hard to keep her that way. How do we do that, you ask? Voting. That's how.
What's voting?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Billy. You see, voting is the most important part of being an American. Because in America, we have what's called a democracy.
So what's a democracy?
Well, you see, Billy, when God created America, He blessed us with a government that lets us have a say in how things work.
So you mean we have the right to choose?
I wouldn't go that far. But we do have it a lot better than all those other places.
This place stinks. Why would anyone want to live here?
Ha! Beats all heck out of me, kid.
So how do I do it? How do I vote in a democracy?
I'm charmed by your curiosity. Here, let me show you how it all works. When it's time to vote, you head to your assigned voting stations and step into what's called a booth. Once you've decided who or what you'd like to vote for, you pull the magic lever and presto! You've just voted! The voting machine then uses radio waves to beam your vote up to the moon, where a giant brain-looking alien creature we call Salazar tallies up all the votes and beams the results back to Earth.
All hail Salazar!
No, Billy. Then, an elite group of mathematicians and other smart people eventually make up their own minds about who wins and who loses.
What's that wizard doing there?
He's magic. You see, Clarence...
Billy,
it's just that simple.
Well, gee whiz, I want to vote right now.
Well, you can. All you have to do is be an 18-year-old American citizen.
I'm only 17.
Why don't you start practicing for the big day?
Hey, Nito!
As you can all see in the clip, the clip is largely a parody. As no Salazar creature is tallying up votes on the moon and mathematicians aren't sitting around in a room with a wizard deciding who wins elections. However, despite its humorous tone, the overall message of the clip is extremely important. Every vote counts, and we should all be doing as much as we can possibly to uphold this important civic duty. The United States currently has a national debt in upwards of $15 trillion. There is an unemployment rate of 8.2% in the United States workforce, and Congress's most recent approval rating was 14%. However, most individual congressmen often have approval ratings of more than 50%. There is a worldwide recession that is being felt in international economic markets, and despite where you stand on the issues, social issues have created a volatile political climate at both the state and national levels. And despite all these problems that are being seen in this country, the majority of American citizens do not care enough to do anything about it. Federal elections for senators and House representatives have on average a 35% turnout rate, with far less voters turning out for state and local elections. Even presidential elections themselves only have an average voter rate between 45 and 55% voter turnout. There are four main reasons that you should get out and vote. First, it is our patriotic duty to do so. Think back to all of your history classes and remember what you learned about 1776, our founding fathers, and the Revolutionary War. Our founding fathers fought hard to provide us with the right to voice our opinion and make a change in our government. They gave us the right to vote and to make our voices heard for the direction that we want America to take. Millions of other people around the world do not have this right to a popular election, and the ones that do fought long and hard to get it. During apartheid in South Africa, Nelson Mandela was sentenced to jail for 27 years for speaking out against the actions of his government. When apartheid ended, Nelson Mandela ran for president in South Africa. Over 90% of the population, about 20 million individuals, got out and went to vote during those presidential elections. Africans from small shantytowns walked tens of hundreds of miles to get to their voting booths and waited hours in line to make their voice heard. It was that important to them, and it should be that important to you and me when all it takes for us to go to the voting booth is a simple car ride down the street. Second, we should exercise our right to vote. Our vote is our voice in the United States government. When we vote, we let our elected officials know our opinions and views on the issues. The bottom line is that our government works for us. If we don't like something that the government does, we can vote to change it, whether it be at the local, state, or national levels. Every United States citizen over the age of 18 who has not been convicted of a felony has the right to vote, and we should be doing everything we can to exercise that right. The power of the government is in our hands. The third main reason is that our votes do count. Your vote in the 2000 presidential election was won by a mere 537 votes. George W. Bush won the state of Florida, giving him the majority of the Electoral College votes, but he won the state of Florida by only 537 votes. Former President Lyndon B. Johnson, when he ran for Senate in 1948, he won that election by one mere vote in his precinct in Texas. Furthermore, President Nixon won the election in 1968, but he lost his first campaign against JFK in 1960 by only 0.1% of the popular vote. The vote came down to a matter of about 112,000 individuals out of the total of 69 million voters who turned out, and that determined the presidency. It really does prove that one vote counts. And the last reason is that if we do not vote, someone else will vote for us. The power of the United States government lies with the people. If we don't vote, we are allowing others who may have different political opinions than ours to go out and make the decisions about the direction of our government, while we sit at home and do nothing. Lobbyists, interest groups, and other organizations will use their influence to get their elected officials in power, while our elected officials do not win the elections because we failed to go out and vote. You can't just sit at home and expect your friends to take care of it for you and your family to go out and do the vote and make the decisions for you. Voting is an incredibly simple thing to do. First, you must make sure that you are registered to vote. Since I know all of you have internet access, you can simply Google voter registration for whatever state that you reside in and follow their instructions to register. You can register online or by a mail-in application. In a short few weeks, your voter registration ID will be sent to you in the mail, and you can use that on November 4th. You have to make sure that you register early enough because many states cancel the registration process around mid-October before the elections get there in order for you to get your ID card in time for the voting. The next step is that you must find your polling location. You can also do this online at the same website where you register to vote, and they will list all of the nearby polling locations for you to go on election day. You must also research the candidates. There's no point in voting if you don't know the candidate you want to vote for and why. All of the candidates have their websites, have their views and their policy issues, so research the candidates and find the candidate that you align with most ideologically and who will have what you believe to be the best vision for America and for our future. And last, go to the polls on election day. On November 4th of this year, drive your car to the nearest polling station, bring a driver's license and your voter ID, and they'll tell you what to do from there. Go into the booth and vote for the candidate who you believe is the best for the job. American anthropologist Margaret Mead is quoted as saying, "Never doubt that any small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." As I stated before, the 2000 presidential election was determined by 537 votes. That means that 537 people who decided to go out to the election that day determined who became president. If all of them decided to stay home because they felt their vote didn't matter, the course of American history would have been completely changed. It's not about us or them, me or you, black or white, red or blue. It's about all of us and the future of this nation, the future for ourselves, our parents, our children, and our grandchildren. When you vote, you can be proud because you just became a part of American history. This isn't just one day in November. It determines the course of America for the rest of time. And whether you want to vote for Barack Obama, Mitt Romney, or you believe in the vision that a third-party candidate has set forward for 2012, get out on November 4th and cast your vote for the future of America. By the people, for the people, this was not written in vain. We owe it to the Founding Fathers, we owe it to our families and friends, and we owe it to ourselves to go out on November 4th to vote. So I implore you, Register. You can do it right now on your computers. It will only take a few minutes. It's the least you can do. And on November 4th, get to your polling stations and cast your vote for the next president of the United States. This is our country, our government, and we the people truly can make a difference. Thank you very much. Good night. And I forgot to neglect to show my audience members before, and I have 4 audience members who watched the speech this evening. Thank you very much for coming.